How you doing? In honor of Mother Wendy, this is going to be my episode recap of Abbott Elementary. Okay, let me just say this real quick. I did not even know that I did not see last week's episode. It doesn't. I saw it, but I didn't see it. I think I was coming from somewhere, and I must have, just blocked it out of my head that I didn't really watch it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm going to combine two episodes. I'm going to make the first episode real quick. I'm just going to run through it because, it's more like a recap, short, if you will. So I won't have to have you on for like 30-something minutes for a 30-minute show, each show. So it's going to be like a fast overview. On the first episode that I'm recapping, it's called Smokin. And the Surgeon General warned you about smoking. If you know anything, you know what I'm talking about. That's from Good Times. That's for you old hoes out there. But anyway, this is Reacap with DVD. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And guys, get into my Abbott Elementary recaps. They are the bomb, okay? So, the episode opens up with Jessica being Jessica. See where I'm going with this? The episode opens up with Janine talking about how she has been allowing substitutes to teach her class. She is not happy with the way they're teaching. She went in there and she met one of the subs. Her name is Jessica. Not Jessica, Jessica. And she took the I out of Jessica. And this is really irritating Janine. And she tells the kids they don't have to capitalize, words that begin with capital letters. And she's teaching them, she was teaching them 8 words, but Janine is being Janine. Micromanage. So here we go. It's another call from Abbott, and that hence the name of the episode, Smokin. It was a good child that was caught smoking at the school because this is the second call to Abbott Elementary that the fire department has had. And, this fella, I think he kind of smitten with Sheminti. At least it wasn't Miss Barbara. So it's time to go into action. We got to find out the rules that apply for smoking on this episode. So they're in the teacher's lounge and they're trying to come up with rules against smoking, and they couldn't find anything. And so with Janine and her perky little attitude, Ava makes fun of her. Gee willikers, oh my gosh, you just restated a problem that we already having. Yeah, of course, that's what Ava does, and that's what Janine does. So back at the teacher's lounge, they find out that they all have vices, and Janine's vice is ganja. And as Miss Barbara says, the devil's lettuce. So Ava asks Janine, what are y'all doing? Not coming up with rules down at the district. What are y'all doing? Just sitting around doing the Juby slide and not coming up with the correct amount of rules? And then Miss Barbara says, what's the Juby slide? And then Jacob tries to explain to her what it is. Oh, I do not want to live in a world where it is a white boy telling me what to do on a black person's dance. Every now and then, Miss Barbara's Jamaican accent creeps in there. So we find out that Jacob is a hookah addict. No, Ava is a hookah addict. Jacob vapes. The only thing that Gregory does is enjoy a protein bar edible on the weekends. Miss Barbara, I suggest you all drop your vices and take a hit of JESUS. Amen, somebody. Then we find out that, actually Barbara partakes in little bottles of Chardonnay. And Miss Sheminti, she just dabbles in the CBD oil for medicinal purposes. And so does Janine, she'd be an energizer bunny if she didn't do the ganja, the devil's lettuce, if you will. All of a sudden, we find out that a child hears them. So Jacob is outed in his classroom by the little boy who actually saw or heard the conversation, and he videotaped it. And he told him, he said, well, no one should be talking about doing DRUGs. And he says, except for the teachers. And then one little girl said, you got smoked, Mr. Jacob. Janine walks by a student and she said, hi. Bet you are, under his breath. And Mrs. Howard is partaking in something in a black cup of some sort. And they said, Mrs. Howard, is that Pinot Grigio? So Janine is talking to Gregory about her issues with her subs. This is going to be an ongoing thing, I see. Gregory encouraged her to go talk to her sub because, she's hyper. And he says, you must not hit the devil's lettuce. So she calls in a favor and they send in people that Tariq knows to talk to them about the ongoing situation that's plaguing the school, which is the addicted to drugs. Shout out to Marie, Mom. So, oh boy, he gets up to Tariq's friend. He gets up there and rap. Then a young lady gets out up there and she loses her right. She cannot tell them anything. They ask a question, she don't have an answer. They're like, what about this drug and what about that drug? Just like, oh, wait a minute, accept that, accept this, accept that. See, it's always an exception to every rule with the good drugs, because they're like, well, that's for medicinal purpose, and that was for this, that, and the third. Now, the only one that I can't think of that may have medicinal purposes that people talk about all the time would be baking soda. However, when my friend scratched my eyeball at Jackson State University in 1993, my freshman year of college, she almost put my freaking eye out because she had long witch nails, hard as a brick, because she used to wear this nothing but hardener on them. Anyway, she almost scratched my eye, and they gave me pure liquid cocaine to put in my eye. So yeah, I guess it's medicinal purposes and exception for every addicted to drugs. Janine finally talks to Jessica, and she's asking her. She said, "Well, I understand. Do you understand what I'm saying about actually teaching the class? Because I understand you." She tries to reverse it, right? The only thing that's harder than being a substitute teacher is being an actual educator. So I am with you. Do you understand where I'm coming from? And then she says, have you ever seen ice trucks? Because those trucks are big. Ice is big. I mean, what? Oh, that light is goofy.
I would not say better, but some are definitely worse than others. Well, then, what's the least bad drug? All substances are bad. But if you had to pick one, cigarettes, I guess. No. So if I had to pick one thing to do, if my life depended on it, it should be cigarettes? No. Maybe weed? Buddy. What the hell? Let's end this, guys. According to CNN, fake news. Okay, now you got my attention. Alcohol was illegal during the Prohibition era. And we're seeing the same renaissance now with marijuana. You know where they don't have a marijuana problem? The third world, where kids can't just Google whatever they want because they're busy making the phone. Okay, all right. It just seems like...
When I tell you they lost control at this with me, because he's like, well, my grandma does glaucoma. My grandma has glaucoma. Well, that's weed. It's okay in that case. Well, my grandma loves opioids. Well, if it's prescribed by a doctor. Then he said, this little boy said, my mama's on Valtrex. He said, your mama had herpes. Ooh, baby. Even Ava had to cut in. And Ava is always with it, right? So when Tariq's friend come out, he's been back there doing because, smoking, if you will. And Janine asked the other little lady that was, Tariq's friend or whatever, are you high, lady? And then so Teresa's friend, he tries to get the crowd back into it. This went and you're supposed to say went well. And guess who was out there talking about went well? And twerking. Jessica. So even Ava has to go through extreme measures. She gets on the mic and said that children will be searched and they will have disciplinary actions if contraband is found. So they have another meeting and they realize that Curtis is a good kid and they need to ask him why did he do what he do with a Smokin. Shout out to JJ on Good Time. And Mr. Minty says, I think I could cough up some good advice. So Janine turns around and she didn't wave at the sub and Barbara realized something wrong because she loves good wave and she lets her know that, I'm just not happy with the way she's teaching my class. And she said, well, you used unorthodox methods at some point. See, Janine is not accepting that she works at the district now. You're above us, okay? No, I'm just joking. That's not what Barbara said. She's just like, that was your class. This is her class now, and we all do things different. I do things different than you, and we're not going to all have the same ways of reaching these children. Yes, you have to do what works for you, and that's what I used to try to get the other counselors to see when I was a counselor. We worked with the youth, and I was so relatable, and I was young myself. I used to feel like, they could talk to me about stuff and, things like that. But they always discipline this, discipline that. You can't be friendly with them. You know what I'm saying? So that was my way. So Miss Minty, a former smoker, they talking to Curtis. And it's Miss Minty and and Gregory. And so they tell Curtis, what made you do this? He said, I have no idea because the stuff is nasty. And then Gregory said, remember that taste? And then Mr. Mitchell says, yeah, it took me years to remember what that tastes like. And Janine apologizes and Jessica lets her know, hey, I'm just here for the week, honey. You can just, I appreciate your apology, but you can just stop talking. Boom. That's the end of Jessica. So Gregory remembers that his buddy Janine can possibly get the suspension reversed because Curtis is a good kid and no one really wants him to be suspended. Aww. When I tell you this is the absolute funniest part of this episode, they all realize that they need to let go of their vices. So, but Barbara does try to see video and they videotape Jacob and Jacob is like, he's gonna let go of the vape pen. And then he drops it in the trash. And before they could count to 3, he was up in that garbage can trying to get that vape pen. I know somebody in my life like that. Her name starts with a G. Birthday 3 in this month. Real good friend of mine. Yeah. Vapes. So, in the end of this episode, Jacob decides he's going to buy him some oxygen. And then Abel's like, well, you can't have vape pens. They're outlawed now. And he's like, it's not. It's just air. And she said, they got idiots playing for air now. Then he looks at the camera and says, I got caught. Yeah, you did. But when you take in pure oxygen, it does open you up in some kind of way. It's just like a different kind of oxygen, I guess. But anyway, that's going to be that part of this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's go on to episode 5. This episode is season 3, episode 5, The Breakup. So Jacob is trying to break up with his big-backed boyfriend. Shout out to us big backs. Well, I'm not going to let that go. Because, everything is not big back behavior, Are we as big backs, are we the only people that's desperate to be in a relationship? I don't fucking think so. Otherwise, my big back self will be in a relationship myself. Shout out to Charlamagne. Resuming with Abbott Elementary. The episode opens up. Okay, this is season 3, episode 5. To break up the episode opens up with a new sub coming in. He's all enthusiastic. He's dressed nice. And then he gets something sticky on his hand. Schmidt bets that he won't last 5 minutes. And he comes back. I said, ooh, I got something sticking on my hands. I think I want to be a lawyer. And she wins the bet. He was like, school hadn't even started yet. That's what Gregory said. Coming in there looking like he was about to sell bean pie. Yeah, he was actually looked like he was a member of the NOI, Nation of Islam. And he pulled off that bow tie and it was a fake. And Barbara said, bow tie bamboozle. Ooh, I love this show. So in the next scene, we have Jacob, Shementi, and Mr. Johnson, the janitor, and Gregory. And Jacob invites Gregory out to go get some drinks tonight. And Shementi realized that something is afoot, okay? We're going to find out what that is, because she's saying, son, you're going out a lot lately. I mean, that's what I used to do to avoid my problem. And then Mr. Johnson is like, we used to be the 3 Musketeers, but they don't invite me to anything anymore. So we have another sub that's going to be in Janae's classroom, and there she goes, micromanaging again. And so Shementi checks on the new sub, and she's like, I used to be a kid. I think I can handle it. Because, that was the great thing about being a sub, because, I dabbled in substitute teaching myself. And when the other teachers would come over and back you up and have your back for... because the kids would definitely take advantage of subs. And I never understood that. I was always respectful to my subs. I guess because when we were growing up, our teachers used to threaten us for dear life if we mistreated our subs. And that's one thing I did. I respected that. But then she's like, well, it's 30 me's in here. And then she's like, I was a kid. And she just said, well, it's going to be like a 30s of Jews in here. When Italians add the S on singular words, kills me. Like how Teresa Judas says user. I bet y'all think this girl always talking about when she could be talking about her scripture show. She always adding in something about the housewife. Correct. Because I always can reference them in something. So in the next thing, we have Barbara and her church group. And they found mold at the church, so they're going to do their little singing at the gym. And Ava allowed them to do so at a reasonable price, quote unquote, so she says. And Barbara is excited because they're going to sing Shackles, which is her favorite song. But they picked somebody else to sing it. The reason why she thinks they picked somebody else is because they very, very judgy of her because she wears makeup. She just doesn't look the part of the elderly church woman. She wears loud red lipstick and they, pretty much kind of shade her about her looks and things like that. Another reason why I don't do religion, baby. Many, many other reasons. But the judgment, yes, is another reason. Many things that, here I go, but I'm going to do it anyway. Many things that they judge people about are not even included in the Bible. They are misinterpretations of something that's perceived, and then it gets spread around, and it turns into a mountain into a molehill. Like, for example, how you're supposed to dress. Some religions say that you can't wear the clothes of a man. Who decided what were the clothes of a man when Jesus wore cloaks and robes? And in various countries, men wear kilts, which are really skirts. So who decided in America, especially in a certain sect of the religion, what were the clothes of the man and what were the clothes of the women? I'm telling you. That's why you have to, if you're going to read the book, you have to know that a lot of the interpretations, like I said, were misinterpreted through rumor, basically, which is a sin, gossip. I can't make this stuff up. And so Ava cracks one of her ditties and she goes over and she's like, well, because she's seeing how they're treating Barbara. And she's like, well, have you heard the mixed version of Shackles and Pound Town? You're going to love what she did with it. Oh, not the good church women. How dare she? So we're back to Jacob and Greg, and they're out at the club, in the club with everybody. So here we find it. Like I said, we were about to find out. Jacob and Greg are at the club, and finally Jacob admits that he is bored in his relationship, and Greg was just giving him the advice, consider breaking up with dude. And he's trying to avoid breaking up. I'm kind of like that. Yeah. I'll put up with so much, and then that passive aggressive Scorpio energy gets into my body, and then I'm like, and then it all comes out at once, and I'm just like Jacob is doing. You know, when I get ready to break up with somebody. Yeah, it's never a time where I'm calm with it. It all comes out like, you make me sick. You blah 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 blah. Everything comes out. Everything that I should have said from the beginning of my thoughts of breaking up, it all comes out at once. And that's not the way to handle a breakup. But that's what Scorpios do. I mean, we avoid things until they just explode. Pisces, too. My sister just like that. Water signs, people. Water signs. So Ava goes see Barbara in the next scene, and she sees that Barbara is singing Shackles. And she says, well, you were robbed of the solo. And then she says, just like my sorority, always put you in the back if you're not hanging with the mean girls. And she said, well, this is kind of different. What is a choir if it's not a sorority for the Lord? Ava! Baby, when I tell you they write her the best stuff, some of it I'm sure is ad-lib, but she is hilarious. So she tells Barbara basically to ask her what she wants, and she gives her some, good confidence and good energy that she needed in that moment. Even though Barbara judges Ava. So she tells her to say, I am that girl. I am that woman. No, I am that girl. I am that lady. Then she finally says, I am that girl. I mean, I love this show. Again, I do. So now, all the time that Sheminti has been telling, and everybody has been telling Janine that she needs to back off and let the subs do their job, it's a screaming session going on in there. She thinks the kids are all right, or she thinks the kids are not all right. And she goes running in, and then she asks, where did you get your teacher's certificate? And she said, I didn't say. So she immediately calls Janine, and she puts Janine back in the middle of this mess of getting her back involved in going overboard, per se. And she tells her that, look up Chastity Jeffrey. Now, just keep that in mind. Chastity Jeffrey. And when did subs need teacher certificates? But then again, this is a show. So Jacob comes up with this asinine plan to do the reverse and get his boyfriend to break up with him. And he said, so Gregor was like, so what did you do? He's like, I just didn't say goodbye. I bet he's fuming. And he's in the car, teeth all gnashed together, looking like a wild porcupine. So Gregor is like, well, I'm supposed to stay out of gay folks' business, but let me just give you a piece of advice. Dude, this thing is not going to work. How about you just tell him? And he's like, well, You should know you've been broken up with more times than I, or dumped more times than I have. And then he's like, okay, well, my time has expired for caring about this sort of situation. Handle it how you handle it. He walks out. So back at the district, Janine, as she called Shamita, and she said, she's not certified. She's not even in the system. Or they are not in the system. Because I think that they're trying to say she's not. They're non-binary. Okay. I'm working on it. I'm going to get there. Because, Miss Pat was actually the original non-binary on TV. Y'all remember Miss Pat from Saturday Night Live? Well, if you know, you know. So in the next scene, we have Ava and Barbara and the choir ladies, and they are being their usual judgmental selves. And, oh, Barbara, I see you have a new passing. No, it's the same one. You mean same? Several. Well, I like to throw my hat in the ring and sing shackles if I may. No, it's more so in Sheila's key. How about you give us a little audition and sing "Oh Happy Day"? And Ava was back there listening to it. She said, "Oh, curveball." She starts, "Okay, that's enough. We're going to stay with Sheila." She didn't even sing the song. And Ava gets mad. She about to come in there and give them some of her Ava-isms. But Barbara said, no. I'm going to go ahead and relent and be a little beat up snow bunny like I normally am. No, Barbara, speak up for yourself, dear. Cuss them old biddies out in the Jesus way. Jesus cussed people out. So Jacob is, he's doing his Real Housewife confessional. He does a whole lot of things that he knows a gay man that he's in love with is not gonna like. He doesn't squeeze out the sponge. He leaves crumbs everywhere. He leaves the microwave door open. And his boyfriend is soothing, darling. However, at the same time, it's still not working. So Janine arrives, purse in tow. She's ready to confront Cassidy Geoffrey. Comes to find out, she didn't spell her name right. She was indeed in the database. So they try to grill her and try to find out what school she had subbed in, and she was naming them all, and they was like, oh, you just naming presidents. And I hope that she realizes that Janine was actually alerted. But Shamita does what Shamita does best. Gets on the other person's side and leaves Janine over there standing looking like a fool. So the lover comes down to the school and Jacob is like, so what's going on? And Gregory's in there. He's in the middle of him. He's like, I think we should go to couples counseling. He just knew that he was going to break up with him. But he didn't. Then he goes and says, I want to break up. And he is shocked. Not Mr. Johnson. He's like, I'm glad I'm not in a throuple. So they both agree that they need to break up, but there goes Jacob's mouth, and he lets him know that he's been trying to set him up to get him to break up with him. And he's like, what? And then he goes off and he tells him that compost is disgusting. He held them back at trivia night and a whole lot of other things that he should have broke up with Jacob for. I know how he feels. He's sitting up there thinking that they were going to work it out, and there he is setting him up. So he's angry. He walks out and he's like, oh my God. When I tell you, I get so sick of hearing that because my children watch those shorts. And baby, who can watch a short better than a kid? But they get views for every short that they watch over and over again. But no. My kids can't watch my shorts over and over again. And I get a view for it. Because why? YouTube tracks IP addresses. That don't seem fair. I said what I said. So after Zach when the lover leaves, Grant comes back in. He says, "You came back for me." He said, "No, I came back from the pen." And then he squeezes his shoulder to let him know he's there for him. And he walks out to confessional and says, "I have other pens." I love their little relationship. Ava and Barbara are in the next scene. And Ava says, "I know why my sororities don't like me, but why don't they like you?" And she says, "Well, I'm not Christian enough for them." And then Ava says, "Just because you have a few piercings? If anybody can appreciate holes in a body, it's Jesus." Oh, hilarious. So now we see the connection as to why Barbara loved Shaka so much. You know, she was so busy when she was working and raising her children. She just forgot about religion and church. That's not why I forgot about it. I started researching it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But she heard shackles. Take the shackles off my feet so I can dance. I just wanna praise. So she heard that song and she found her faith again. So they all go back into the teacher's lounge and we find out that Jacob's boyfriend is the vengeful type and he talks to Gregory about it and Mr. Johnson comes in and he's like, "What's wrong, man?" And all of them like, concerned about Jacob. And he said, "Well, since he's a vengeful type, he's shrunk all my clothes and things like that. And now he's writing a one-man show called Fleabag with an F." And then he said, "Flea flop." And you know what it is, right? The derogatory term for gay men. But gay men can say it to other gay men, if you know what I mean. And so Janine gets in trouble and she was like, "I hope they spell my name right with 2 G's. And then Samantha says she apologizes to her and she said, "Well, maybe it's just because I'm bored, the reason why I got so involved." And then Janine's like, "Or maybe you just miss me." And she's like, "Nah, just bored." they do Janine so wrong. So Ava comes back in the classroom with Barbara and she's like, "Well, did you tell them off? And did you tell them why Shackles meant so much to you?" And she's like, "Yes, but they were unmoved." And then Ava said, "Well, you still get to sing your song twice." And she said, "Huh? Well, what did Ava do? I threw a little surprise recital for her." But Barbara is going to get in there and sing Shackles and everything else that's been bottled up inside of her from not being able to sing solo. They're going to be in there for hours and hours and hours. So Ava's like, "We're going to have to figure out a way to get her off the stage." And she was about to teach him how to do the whistle tone. Shout out to Candy. Candy is up there with the whistle toners for me. I like Candy's best because she's not like Mariah and she's not like Minnie Riperton, even though Minnie Riperton and Denise Williams are right up there together for me with the whistle tones. I like Candy's because Candy can go from low, 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 singing. When she sings, what is that Kaya always says she does? Every man wants a woman. And she can go from every man wants a woman with the whistle tone. So, I'm not a singer, people. I'm just saying. I'm trying to give you a visual. That's all. I'm a commentator, former social worker, former Medicaid specialist, former long-term substitute teacher, former caseworker. All of those. Did I tell you that I also, yeah, sure I have, and former customer service assistant manager at Bell South Mobility and Sitel. Okay, I've had some careers. I'm like, Jamie, that's me. Shout out to Jamie, that's me. She said the same thing that I always say. If I'm getting bored at something, I'm going to do something else. And that's why I've had so many careers. And now I'm a stay-at-home mom, which is absolutely positively, out of all those jobs that I named, the hardest one I've ever had. And that's going to be the end of that episode with Ava telling Barbara, do you know Go Down Moses? And she's like, yes. And she's getting ready to sing. And she said, no, I'm going to have you to let my people go. I'm glad you know that song because, you need to let my people go. And like I said, that's going to be the end of that. I love this show, and I don't get very many views from it anyway, and I'm just now getting into the thousands, and this show still keeps me in the low 20s to 30s, but I do this out of a labor of love because I love the show so much. Same thing with Love and Marriage DC. But anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell button so you can be notified when I upload a video, including these. Thank you for watching. And as I do when I close, I'm going to chunk them up. Deuces!